Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, almost fell.
Oh, oh, it finally caught on to me, because you already know what today is. It's Update Monday! I'm still tripping over almost fell. What's going on with your big dog? And it is an amazing Monday. I hope you are having as good as a Monday as I am. As you should know, it's been 11 weeks of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. And while it hasn't been a steady stream of just beating its ass, it's been kind of like that fall that you just seen earlier. Sometimes you fall, but you gotta get back up and keep working at it. Speaking of falling and working back at it, one of the coolest things that has been happening to me this month is that I've been running the local tournament at Atomic Games. We started off with 12 people, and just last week we hit 22 people. This is coming from having 40 to 50 people, so this is definitely a falling but getting back up situation. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to run the tournaments forever. I actually have to get back into the budget series as well as some other series I want to cook up. But one thing that's going to be insane is that I will start recording live duels. And speaking of insane, that's exactly what we're talking about. Some insane decks this format. So today I'm going to be talking to you about some decks that are just completely outrageous. These are some strategies that you should seriously consider playing inside of a boring meta because these strategies are really good. So of course, not only will I be breaking down to you what the strategy does, but I'll also be telling you why it can compete. So without further ado, let's jump on in. Now, if there was ever a deck that got off to a rocky start, then became godly, and then got forgotten about, is the Adamantipator strategy. Adamantipator is a deck focused on being able to excavate rock monsters, and whatever you dig into, you can special summon to your side of the field. That's good punnage right there. Your best cards are easily Adamantipator, Researcher, and Seeker, allowing you to special summon those excavated rock monsters to your side of the field. And typically you want to special summon monsters like Quackimiru Guardian, which not only checks for your opponent's hand traps, you can't be Nibiru'd if you got a Guardian on your field. And then there's also Quackimiru Supplier, which can not only search the Guardian, but also can chain block and serves as a great extension piece. And if that doesn't get your rocks off, I know exactly what will. This is a strategy that can make Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess with ease, and that's something that some of the top meta decks can struggle with. Decks like Virtual Road and Drytron can be fairly hard to deal with, but Appaloosa of course makes that job a little bit easier. Not to mention that the Adamantipator strategy can take advantage of Prank Kids, being able to make a Prank Kids Battle Butler that can Raigeki twice, as well as being able to make monsters like Abyss Dweller and BORRELOAD Savage Dragon, with Abyss Dweller being a long forgotten Yu-Gi-Oh card that can actually dominate a graveyard reliant format. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was fairly disappointed when this deck got support because the support isn't exactly what it needs, but it does follow the lore and it's not bad support. Cyber Dragon is a deck that just won't die. This is a card that is 16 years old, as Cyber Dragon itself is designed fairly well, allowing you to special summon itself to the side of the field if your opponent controls monsters and you don't. So when you're going second, right? So in case you didn't know, if you love Cyber Dragon, well, you should love summoning his retrains. Cyber Dragon Core allows you to add Cyber Spell or Trap cards from your deck to your hand. It can also special summon a Cyber Dragon monster to your side of the field if you control no monsters and your opponent does. And then there's Cyber Dragon HERZ. This monster allows itself to be level 5 when special summoned to the side of the field, or can recur a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard or deck to your hand. Here's the great thing about Cyber Dragon monsters. Most of them are treated as Cyber Dragon while on the field or graveyard. This means that HERZ can not only add almost any Cyber Dragon monster from your graveyard to your hand, saying that it's under 500 attack, it's a machine duplication target, allowing you to special summon those level 5 Cyber Boys to your side of the field. Now, what will make sure you will cyberly dragon on some wins is that its ability to be able to play through those deadly boards. Take, for example, how Tri-Brigade likes to summon Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Well, a quick Cyber Dragon into a Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon can finish that. Also, monsters like Divine Arsenal AA Zeus are no problemo. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon allows you to rid your opponent of all their machine monsters. I haven't even gotten to start to talk about the good parts of Cyber Dragon. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and Cyber Dragon Infinity is the bread and butter for this deck, but what if I told you through Stardust Synchron, this deck can actually synchro into level 9 monsters like Virtual Rogue QB Shinshin. Cyber Dragon's potential is almost unlimited, and it still is getting even more support with the Cyber style structure deck. Now this is a deck that just flat out won't die, as Rocket Dragon Link has been in Yu-Gi-Oh! Since it feels like the beginning of time. In the beginning of time, there were dinosaurs, and apparently Rocket Dragon Link. I strongly feel as long as Quick Launch and Rocket Tracer exist at some capacity, being able to special summon Rocket Tracer to your side of the field for free, and then destroy any card on your side of the field as long as it's face up to special summon a Rocket monster from your deck to your side of the field is a little broken. And seeing that this deck is a Link Synchro based deck, being able to abuse the Black and White Dragon, Calip Surfin, and Wyver Buster respectively allows you to not only Link climb fairly easy, synchro summon into the monsters you need, but allows you to abuse cards like Chaos Space inside of your deck as well. Now you should already know the deadly boards that Rocket Dragon Link can make, mainly because we're still going through the trauma of Rocket Dragon Link. No, Rocket Dragon Link, don't do that! The standard board has always been Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres, Witcher Dragon Maid Tidying, but monsters like BORRELOAD, Savage Dragon, and Appaloosa Bowl of the Goddess are not too far behind. But what I really love about this deck is that one of its most powerful monsters is in the main board. Chaos Dragon Levea Nero not only allows you to clear boards, rip cards out of your opponent's hand, you'll never get the third effect of special summoning monsters, but let's focus on ripping cards out of your opponent's hand and destroying boards. This card is awesome. Also saying that the card can be recycled with monsters like Starlead Seyfried and Chaos Space. Too strong. Now if you're a Yu-Gi boomer like me, that's right, we're still alive and kicking. You watch your back, sonny. Then you should already know how disappointing Noble Knights were. I mean, this deck was extremely fun looking, it was extremely fun, but good wasn't it. Fortunately enough, Infernobles have came to save Noble Knights hides, as this deck is actually really good, even with the bans that happened a long time ago to almost put this deck to obscurity, but it actually doesn't matter because the deck's still really good. What makes Infernoble so unfair is that it simply just has unfair cards. Infernoble Renaud allows you to special summon itself to the side of the field. All you have to do is control a Fire Warrior monster, and it can be treated as a tuner. You mean like, it's a non-tuner that can be treated as a tuner, but is a non-tuner for like synchro purposes? This card also allows you to add an equipped spell card or warrior monster from your graveyard to your hand when it's special summoned. It only gets a little bit more busted as this combo deck is another one of the few combo decks that can check hand traps. Neo Space Connector allows you to special summon Neo Spacian Aqua Dolphin to your side of the field. Not only are these two strong warrior monsters, it allows you to look at your opponent's hand, getting all the information you need, and then get almost any hand trap south of Nibiru and Infinite Impermanence. But don't worry, the deck can still play around Infinite Impermanence and Nibiru. Child's play. Now Infernoble does this really weird thing where it makes some really powerful boards, and just when you thought that you could Forbidden Droplets it can make Herald of Arclight, meaning that if you're dropletsing, what is that? I don't even understand. Dropletsing, is that German? Whatever I meant by that, you're gonna have to send cards from your hand to the graveyard as opposed to using your field. Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles is also a card not to play with. Not only is it a free destruction, but oftentimes you can make it untargetable and undestroyed by card effects. And then of course there's the normal go-to combo Synchro monster. BORRELOAD Savage Dragon is a monster that is an Omni Negate, but this deck can also freely make Psyframe Lord Omega, which is another disruption on your opponent's hand, especially when you consider that you may have already Aqua Dolphined them. They can start off with less cards than you did. And before I get to the last strategy, of course, I couldn't talk about all of the insane decks this format. I'm actually going to need your help. I want you to tell everyone what are some insane decks and why. This strategy is extremely sweet but can turn sour on players, as MADOLCHE is completely bananas right now. It's a deck that takes the cake. That was good. The reason why MADOLCHE is so good is because it sets up nice. Cards like MADOLCHE Petting Sessor and MADOLCHE Angeli pretty much gives you access to your entire deck, allowing you to special summon the monsters that you need at will. But what makes MADOLCHE so good is that when these monsters are destroyed by battle or an opponent's card, they shuffle themselves back into your deck. Now that may not seem amazing, good or bad, but when you combine it with particular MADOLCHE cards, it actually becomes phenomenal. Cards like MADOLCHE, Ticket, and Salon allow you to gain effects when MADOLCHE monsters are shuffled into your deck. Also, I want to say that MADOLCHE Salon gives you another normal summon. Another normal summon. That means if your first normal summon is stopped, your first normal summon ain't stopped. MADOLCHE is completely ridiculous, and we don't have to talk much about MADOLCHE Queen Tier Masu being able to shuffle cards on your opponent's side of the field non-targeting, meaning that it can actually get over cards like Red Eye's Dark Dragoon because it doesn't destroy and it doesn't target. What we're really going to focus on is this deck's ability to play cards like GOZEN Match, a Yu-Gi-Oh card that forces players to stick to one attribute. All of the MADOLCHE monsters, well, I mean, they may be bred, but I guess the closest thing it is to Earth. And to make matters worse, just when your opponent thought that they could have that out to it, MADOLCHE Promenade not only allows them to recur resources, but negate that out to your out, which allows them to get out. When it comes to insane decks, MADOLCHE easily takes the cake. It is one of the magnificent decks in the Yu-Gi-Oh format. Well, that is pretty much all that I have for the insane Yu-Gi-Oh decks of this format. Of course, I am extremely excited for the Cyber style structure deck, perhaps even a new updated Cyber Dragon deck profile when that comes out. I'm also extremely excited for the Burst of Destiny set, as that should hopefully flip this meta on its head. No more boring tier 1 decks, now new boring tier 1 decks, but at least they're new. I'll also be doing some deck profiles of these amazing strategies on my Twitch, but until then you can check out these amazing videos as I'll catch you on the next one.